Coach Estelle, I think you're on mute. How you doing, man? Welcome.
Man, what an honor and privilege, man. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I tell you what, you guys must be hurting for, speakers.
Not at all. Not at all. I know better. I know better. We wanted to make sure we've got a lot of the young guns on here. We've got a lot of the current Division One assistants, but we wanted to make sure we gave love to a Hall of Famer and to one of the guys who's really paved the way. I know there's guys that paved the way for you as well, but wanted to get one of the real JUCO legends. In my own mind, I'm biased. I can say that.
Coach, I think he just called you old.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering, man. I'm only 47 years old, Brian. I mean.
Season.
Oh, okay, all right.
Experienced.
Exactly. Thank you. Now, thank you, Brian. I appreciate you correcting. Yeah. Brian, sometime I've known him since he basically started, and it's always a joy to see him do very well. And anytime I have opportunity to help anybody in junior college or people that I've seen that have I've seen work their way up and do it the right way, man, it's a great opportunity because that's what people have done for me.
Absolutely. We got a comment already, Coach. We got a comment already.
Wow.
The GOAT from Lester Stewart.
Les, that's my guy, man. I love Les, man. Les is a good guy. I met him on the Be Ready family, and boy, I tell you what, he's got a great future in front of him. When you get to this point, I was in his shoes. I was as a young coach, and you were trying to get to know all the guys and that were you respected in the business and how they did it. They would pour into you at events, and you would sit down and talk with them, and you looked up to those guys, and you want to emulate them and always make them proud. And as you get older, you become, not say in their status, but you become that old uncle type guy to some guys. And then ultimately what I want to be is a father figure to somebody, but that's a few more years down the road. So I got a lot of young guys that I learned from as well as much as I touched them. So yeah, Lester is one of the best.
Now you did say old uncle. Now you kind of get back to the lane I was saying. I was saying season. See.
Okay, all right. Well, you didn't say uncle. You just said legend. Most legends are dead. I just want to let you know that.
Living legend, man. Living legend. Hey, if you're in the Hall of Fame, you got to be able to say that's legendary status. So talk about. We'll get into Navarro in a second, but just talk about what it meant to be honored to be in the Hall of Fame at Navarro College.
Well, I mean, if anybody knows anything about me, I got inducted, but when I go, everybody's going with me. It's a culmination of just a lot of people. You always have to start with your home and your family, and I had two of the best parents in the world that set the foundation for me and my sister coming up of what hard work is and how to be loyal and what your reputation means, and all that kind of helps you in life, or it does help you in life, and it translates into your professional life. So you cannot do anything without God first and then a family at home. But it's all those people, my assistant coaches. I mean, Eric Colbert and Legend Wright were the first two guys that actually worked with me there at Navarro that helped me lay the foundation there. And then you can go on from there. And Bilal Batley, who was a protege for me, that we worked, and man, he was unbelievable. He was a professional at 18 and 19 years old. His level of commitment and helping people in those years where we didn't have but 3 scholarships when I first got there in 2000, it's impactful. It's profound. A lot of people don't know. It's 2 different versions of that Navarro story. It was the heavy lifting that was taking place from 2000 to 2008, when Coach Orr retired, and we had to get the program back up to where it was fully funded. When I got there was 3 scholarships, and our president and administration, which is what I'm going to get to next, is you're not winning championships without them. So you go from, what you learn at home to, being able to use that in terms of recruiting your players, because your players are important, the best type of players that fit you and the players that fit what you're trying to do. You have to have a staff that cares about winning and loving people. And I just hit a home run with those 2 guys to start my career off with, and along with Bilal and Brian Crawford and everybody that worked with me there. And then you got to have that faculty and administration. And, I tell people all the time, those people in the cafeteria, those people that are, doing the landscaping, all those people have value. And so when I, give my speech, so to speak, or speak. Those people have profound meaning to me, and I made it. It's my name, in the Hall of Fame, but they're going with me. To make a long story short, I said it in a long-winded way, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. Absolutely. You've done a great job there. It's alma mater. I'll talk about them toward the end.
Okay.
You were an assistant for a long time for an extremely legendary, another living legend who the court was named after, if I'm not mistaken, at Navarro, and Coach Orr. So Coach Orr is also a mentor to people like Buzz Williams, who is now the head coach at Texas A&M, who I know is a close friend of yours. Talk about just your time in the assistant in that led all the way to you being a head coach at Navarro, because you paid a lot of dues. You guys don't want to pay the kind of dues you pay nowadays.
Well, I've told people in different interviews or settings that without God and Coach Orr and my family, there is no Johnny Estelle and my personal family. But Louis Orr is a unique individual. I cannot explain it in words alone. The relationship that we have is so deep. It went beyond the court. When I went there, I knew Coach because I grew up in Waco, Texas, and he would always come to Waco to play McLennan, and I always revered him as a coach and his teams and how he played. But, you really don't know the inside of a person. Yep. And then when I worked with Buzz Williams here at Texas University Kingsville, I knew his relationship with Coach Orr and how he had impacted him and how much he revered him. So when I had an opportunity to work for him, and it's kind of a unique story because I left here as a GA and went to Northern Pioneer, which is in Arizona, which was the junior college I had played at before I came to Kingsville as a player, and worked with Mark Schlesinger, who happens to be the head coach at New Orleans. I was 25 and he was 24. The job opened up in Navarro, and Sam Walker, the head coach at Texas A&M Commerce, Buzz Williams, and then Corey Cornish, who was the assistant there, who went to Cisco Junior College, all recommended me for the opportunity there. And to learn from a man of that kind of character and have that kind of reputation for a young coach, that's exactly what I was looking for. Because I wanted someone to continue to hone my skills and perfect my skills, and also give me an opportunity to coach. So when I was able to bless to work with Coach, he poured into me and allowed me to develop my skills on the job. And when I say that, and I don't mean this arrogantly, he let me coach games. And people thought that was so unique and weird, but it was so helpful to me. So when I was appointed the head coach in 2008-9, I had coached many games under his supervision, quite naturally, or being on the bench with me. That doesn't happen. That's probably less than 1%, because no matter what you say about our profession, we always talk about family. We always talk about, sacrifice. But when it comes to coaching, a lot of times people are very egotistical, and they prohibit the people that really work with them to gaining that experience. And he wasn't never like that. He was always pouring into his assistant coaches. And I happen to be the baby of the coaching family. I like to know that. I tell Buzz and them all the time, I got the best to coach in those 8 years. We went through hardships. I mean, we went through, the wreck and losing, 2 players. We went through him having a heart attack. We went through him having cancer, but we went through it together. And that level of commitment and love and respect that we have for one another, I just cannot tell you how that impacted me in my personal life and my professional life. And that's why when I speak to young coaches, I always say, find somebody like that. You need to find somebody that has made mistakes or have been successful, that's sincerely going to tell you the truth. They all say good coaches want to be told the truth, but I think any type of professional that's trying to be the best, they want to know what they need to get better at. And that's what I've had in Coach Orr. And I wish everybody had a Coach Orr.
Yeah, Coach Orr is extremely special. Talk a little bit about, Coach, your time as a head coach at Navarro College. You did some incredible things there. Went to Hutch many times, had several players go on to the next level. Talk a little bit about your time as the head coach at Navarro College, and then how did that help you going to University of Houston as an assistant? How has it helped you now and what you're doing at Kingsville and taking that program championships NCAA tournaments.
Well, kind of what I was mentioned earlier is just that, it was a great platform there at Navarro College. The resources were there. The people were there.
Yep.
All we had to do is do our part there, and that was huge there. And what we did there in Navarro, in my opinion, what we called or coined the phrase of the Navarro way. Yeah. I think you can take that and go anywhere. I think it's a mindset, so to speak. It gives you a compass and a direction that you continuously can use no matter what level. I mean, when I went to Houston, I was a part of a great staff. You can't get better than Coach Dickey as a person and a coach and a man. You can't get no better than one of my mentors, than Alvin Brooks, yep. And Ronnie Hamilton and Matt Reed. One of your guys, Matt Reed. Yeah. But we had a great staff, but we had guys like Omar Gonzalez, who's my current assistant there, that was helping the program at the time, and a lot of guys in the support roles that we had. I've always been blessed to be around really good, high-level professional. And I think the time at Navarro gave me as a professional an opportunity to say, this works. There may be a certain type of kid that we say did not recruit, that didn't fit our mold, but we didn't sell ourselves out to win games because our mission was a lot bigger than just winning games. We happened to win a few games and championships, but our whole mission was to make sure that we gave each kid the opportunity to develop holistically, meaning academically. It means, on the court, basketball wise, spiritually. And then also we want to make sure that they learn social skills, life skills, that once they left us, that they can continue to impact programs positively. And also that later after that, whatever God had in store for them, that they could be good husbands and also be people that can impact society in a positive way. So basically pay it forward, but also cherish the memories that we was able to cherish while we were together.
Yeah, for sure, Coach. Let's talk about Texas A&M Kingsville. We'll circle back with Brandon and let him ask a couple more JUCO questions. Tell the people that don't maybe know about the Division II level, just like we're doing JUCO appreciation, people that don't know about the Division II level. You played there. You were a good player there back in the day. My younger brother is a head coach in the same conference, the Lone Star Conference at Texas A&M Commerce. My wife used to be a volleyball coach at Midwestern State in the conference. I had some time with Joe Golding as an assistant at Abilene Christian before it went Division I in Lone Star. So a lot of great coaches come out of Lone Star. So Grant McCaslin coached at Midwestern State in the Lone Star. Chris coached at Angelo State in the Lone Star. So big time basketball league just expanded to an even bigger league. So just talk a little bit about the conference, Division II, and just Texas A&M Kingsville in general.
Well, first of all, I really like the way that you put that hierarchy together in your family, that, it's your wife who's the best coach and then Jason second and you're a distant third. But beyond that, I mean, it takes humility, man, because, a lot of people wouldn't recognize that. But your brother is a very good coach, and he's not going to be at this level very long. But to kind of piggyback on, I kind of want to dig back. I don't know what has happened with how people perceive levels. I've spoken, on different platforms, and I talk to people about, if you have an opportunity to compete and get an education and receive a scholarship, the level doesn't make it. I used to tell our guys at Navarro that same thing. I said, make wherever you are your dream. And at the end of the day, I think sometimes, even when I was a head coach, I would tell guys, a Division II guy would come in, and we was blessed to have quite a few guys go Division I, but our whole deal was about the fit. And I made sure that I humbled them a lot about it. If they came in and, thought that they were bigger than whatever level, you never know what level God has or what plan he has in store for you. So you never, act like a big time guy. So at the end of the day, Division II is a hard level to play at. I mean, we have Division I transfers here, and I'm talking about guys not just from low majors. There's SEC level guys. We had a guy last year. This guy was a man. He transferred from Ole Miss. He averaged almost 30 points a game. And there's really good coaches at this level. As there's great coaches at every level. So I wish kids would understand and parents would understand that, not because I'm a Division II coach. I've always been an advocate of definitely junior college and Division II and Division I, because all levels have purpose. As you know, there's a lot of guys go to junior college and it's like an afterthought because I guess they perceive it as being junior high, and then they get there and they find out, man, you have to perform every day. You have to compete every day just to have an opportunity, and also you have to sacrifice every day. So yeah, we've came here. I got back here after the University of Houston for a year, and man, to take over my alma mater, and I took over for Pete Peterson. I actually worked for Pete. Pete's a great guy, but we had to build the program back up, and that's been a challenge. Rebuilding at this level is a lot harder in JUCO. We had at that time, after my first year, we was the only Division II team that had an APR, which I didn't quite understand, but you have to follow what your administration wants to do, not to just to put it out there. But once we got better, hiring Omar Gonzalez and Mark Matthew was two of my great hires here. Once again, I'm referencing back to staff and having great people around you. We was able to build our program every year to where we went to the national tournament our third year, and then we went back to the national tournament this year and finished third in a very competitive league that, like you had mentioned, that expanded.
There we go. My introduction to the Lone Star Conference was because my buddy Cahill Fennell was an assistant at UTPB. So I didn't know a lot about Division II basketball before, and I fire up his game and say, okay, I'm going to see what we got here. Holy crap. I mean, it's just nothing but a bunch of Division I players running around with a D2 patch on their jersey. It's that conference, and not that the Lone Stars is the only one that's like this in Division II, but people completely underestimate that level that you have to be talent-wise, mental toughness-wise, all that to be successful in that conference. I mean, that is a fight every single day, night in, night out.
I agree with you totally, Brandon. It's like the lower the levels are, and I really say this because I've been blessed to be at the highest level. You really have to love what you do. Like, there's certain guys, and I don't want my statements to be, misinterpreted, but there's some guys that they'll do whatever it takes to get D1, and they just settle. That's it. Once they get there, they lose their drive, they lose their love for the game. They're there for, like when I was at Houston, not saying that we had any players like that, but they're there because, we're on ESPN. We're there because of the gear. They're on there because we, fly charter or whatever. Well, at this level, we do some of those things. We've been blessed to fly charter here but we had to get to the NCAA tournament to do that. So right. In junior college and in lower, you always have to have those kids that have a passion and love for the game, and you have to have a staff that don't have a big time mentality, that understands that it's about us, and you have to have a way of doing things that understand that, hey man, it's all about winning. It's all about having success. It's all about the love and integrity of the game. There's no shortcuts. You can't have people, like Buzz would always say, hanging out. Everyone has to do their part, and that's what the lower levels allow you to do as a coach.
Yeah, and there's a lot of junior college. There's obviously a lot of junior college players, but there is a lot of what makes junior college so special in Division II basketball, and especially in conferences like the Lone Star, where it's about the fight, right? Like, it's about the adversity. It's we can talk about that at the highest levels of Division I, and not to knock on those guys, but at the end of the day, like, you lose a game, like, it ain't so bad to go back to home on your charter plane and your catered meal and your $2,000 a month apartment and whatever, and it's like it eases the sting just a little bit. I think sometimes, like, in the junior college level and the Lone Star Conference, things like that, like, you go to war and then you get on the bus and then you stop at whatever you can stop at in time, because you got to get back to class at you get back to school at 3:00 in the morning. You got to be up at 8 for class, and it's just it's kind of what makes it special. And the kids that figure that out and buy into that, man, some players.
Well, Brandon, all you said is what we would say at Navarro. Like, we have to have guys to say, this has to work.
Yep.
This is it. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to have a bunch of guys that understand that the only way that they're going to get out is they got to play for each other.
Yeah.
So the things that we talk about, you go to a Division I school and they have all these big words like, passion and play hard. Well, those words have to have meaning, especially in junior college, because now your whole life is altered. If you have 1 or 2 bad seeds, or you have 3 or 4 guys that are not interested in trying to help everybody or come under authority, meaning that, the direction of the coaching staff and take advantage of the opportunity, you're costing people opportunities. And that's one thing I thought that we did a phenomenal job, not trying to be arrogant, but to be honest, of picking kids that if they was in different stages in their development. Some guys we would take, they'll probably be like, man, they weren't all just typical junior college kids that were highly talented and may have academic issues. We had gated community kids that was qualifiers. We had Division I transfers. They may have been from, lower levels, but their whole mission was project getting Navarro to the national tournament.
Yeah.
And with that being said, that's why I always say junior college is the purest level of athletics remaining. It's a level that, to me, it still does it for the right reason. And I wish the NCAA would continue to maybe enhance junior college as much as it can, because it serves a great purpose. I mean, you look at guys like Matt Presley he was an All-American that played for us. DeAndre Brown was a All-American, first-team All-American. Both of those had unique stories. DeAndre Brown came from traditional, Dunbar, went to the state championship game, won a state championship, played on top. Matt Presley played in a prep school because of his father's job. He up in Boston. A lot of people didn't know who Matt was. He played on a prep school team, AAU team there at Dallas. He came with me. He became a glue guy as a freshman. And through hard work and determination and buying in and busting his tail, he becomes the player of the year in the conference, a first-team All-American, and goes to the University of Missouri. Now, to make that happen, a lot has to happen. First of all, God working in that tremendous family. He had a great family. Matt did a bunch of work. But, boy, my staff and that kid buying in and busting his tail, how do you do that in a year? And that timetable in junior college is accelerated a lot more than, say, Division I. Division I sometimes, and I love Division I, don't get me wrong, but sometimes they give kids, in my opinion, excuses too much of not being successful. And the cycle or their development cycle is too long, in my opinion. And I'll talk, I can talk on that a little bit later at a later time, but I just think that they don't get to the roots of what they need to do. And then the rules don't allow you to really work kids to a point to where they get better. Right. Sometimes having more isn't always good. Having less and passionate less is always better than having more that's not invested.
100%. I think it's just, I don't know. I didn't go to junior college. I fell in love with junior college because of a crazy story with Solomon, and who's just one of the weirder stories out there of the many, many, many weird stories in junior college. And I think that's just such a huge part of what makes it special is you get those kids that story. That story is what makes it cool. That story is what makes it different. That story is what makes it special. Like you get to tell stories like Gideon George. You get to tell stories like Solomon Heine, Marshall Kearing that we did an interview with last week, who's down at State College of Florida. He's 100% Aboriginal Native Australian. That doesn't happen. But you know what? You don't hear about any of those guys were it not for junior college. Yep. And when you say that it's the purest level of athletics left, it's also not only the purest, but the most able to allow these stories to be told. It's not because of a lack of rules or something. It's just, it creates these unique opportunities. Because trust me, there are plenty of rules in junior college that I slam my head against the wall with and pester the poor president of the NJCAA all the time. But it gives these opportunities so that we can hear those great stories, and then coaches such as yourself help continue to tell those stories in such a great conference as the Lone Star at a great school there with the Javelinas, and it's just it continues.
Let me add to something. It's funny how Division I. Division I is now. Division I is basically junior college. Now, I mean, just be honest with you. Now, everybody's putting the best team they can put together for 1 year.
Yeah.
And for years, everybody always, when I first started coaching, that's what they would say. Oh, that's in junior college. And I'm a JUCO. I'm a product of junior college, and I played. And I'm until the day I get offended by it. I've coached against, and let me put it on record. I've coached against coaches at the junior college level. And let me get now. I coached in the Old American. No disrespect. The Old American, and I'm not named with Rick Pitino. We played him 3 times at Louisville. He coaches like a JUCO coach. Okay, like he coaches like a JUCO coach. I'm just because there's always people say some of that JUCO stuff doesn't translate to Division I. Well, it should, because if it did, D1 would be better. To be honest with you. But it's funny when you watch. And I told AB3, who was another JUCO product.
Yep.
I told him and Jerome the other day, hey man, y'all can't be jumping up and down and have your players acting with that JUCO energy. That's not good for ratings. That's not. Y'all supposed to sit there and just conduct yourself like you had a play, and
right.
You guys just sit there and clap and you stand up. Oh, only one guy is supposed to stand up, and he's don't. No, that's not JUCO. Is dude, everybody get off the bus. From the filmer to if you blessed to have a trainer who barely can wrap an ankle, but he has a purpose. But hey, bro, it's us against whoever. And that JUCO energy and that JUCO love is what translates into success stories like you report on. And Brian's he's a product of it as well. And that's life. Yeah. And I used to tell our guys this all the time. I said, man, we'd be in a circle, and Brian's been in that circle, and any coach that would come recruit our kids, they had to always speak to our guys. And he's probably heard me say this. I said, junior college is the only level where you can be at Navarro College, or you're playing in a little gym like Ranger College, no disrespect to Ranger, and then be in Madison Square Garden playing if you take care of business. Now, who else can do that?
Yeah, 100%.
So when you talk about guys like Kevin Gill at McLennan Community College, Jim Sagona, the Janander, Scott, you talking about Dale Dotson, you talking about, you go on Pat Smith, you talk about Bucket, I can go on and name guys, that were, unbelievable hard match. Ross Hodge, are you serious? Grant McCaslin, are you serious? Jamal Green, as an assistant coach. I mean, trust me. How could I forget the guy that's sitting over there at Texas Tech? The architect. Let's be real about it.
I hear he's pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, really good. But I'm talking about Chris, but I'm also talking about Mark Adams too.
The mad scientist.
Yeah, the mad scientist. Yeah. So there's been a lot of, Chuck Taylor. I can go on, but look what these individuals have done. When they left junior college, they all took a part of junior college. Buzz Williams, another dude. But guys that they've continued to be successful. They've not let that label affect who they were. They've continued on, but their whole mission is helping people.
Yep.
That's what we're here for. You can't be a very good, successful junior college coach, in my opinion, if you're not in it for the kids.
Yeah, because there's not a lot to be in it for.
And the funny thing about Division I, and I'm not knocking it, they'll do it to a point sometimes. I'm not trying to be critical, but can I get this extension?
Right.
Now, once I get this extent, but okay, are you really trying to change lives?
Right.
Now, I'm not stereotyping anybody, because there's good and bad coaches everywhere. But in junior college, for the most part, in my years of coaching and the guys I've been around that did it right, man, I tell you what, man, they have impacted people for the right reason.
Yeah.
So I've coached against. I had the displeasure of coaching against Coach Estelle, the Paris Dragon Navarro Bulldog matchups. We actually lost in a double overtime game to go to Hutch.
Brian, I'm surprised you don't have green on. and I picked this setting just for you. Not try this one right here. That was the first one. That's what you're referring to.
That's just for me. That's just for me.
Oh, that was you. Yeah. That was We were blessed to beat him in double overtime. Was that not a war?
That was a war. And Ross, if we talk to Ross, it still pains both of us to this day. Not that we would have won for sure, but we had a kid get suspended the game before who was our best post defender, who would have been.
I think I just heard an excuse.
Yeah, Paul Crosby, who was a grown man in the paint. Not saying we would have won. It was a double overtime game, but every possession matters.
Okay. Let me stop you right there. Now we played twice that year, correct?
We played twice before that. We played 3 times.
Okay, so when you yes, twice before that, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So when you came to our place,
yes,
and y'all was ranked 7th in the nation, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember with Jonathan Simmons,
the
NBA guy. Yeah.
Yep.
The kid that ended up going to Auburn.
Kenny Gabriel.
Yeah, Kenny Gabriel. The dude you talking about that went up to Michigan.
Yep.
And I'm forgetting Doodles, right?
Yep.
Now we was fortunate. We was very fortunate that night to beat you. You guys beat us at your place.
Yeah, we did.
Right? Y'all beat us, right?
We did. We played pretty well.
So the rubber match was that night, right?
It was.
Okay. So
we needed everybody. We needed everybody.
Okay. Well, I mean, but let me tell you this. There wasn't one person that I didn't respect more, probably in my tenure there, And I forgot the name, like Mike Marcus. He had some great teams. He had Jimmy Butler and those guys too.
Yep.
But Ross Hodge, in my opinion, in the conference, and Scott Janander, and I named some other. You had to be really good to beat them guys, man.
Yep.
Bill Foy, but he learned from Bill Foy.
Yep.
And Bill Foy, who's back at Paris, is a phenomenal coach who won a national championship there after finishing 3rd in the conference this year. So my whole message is this, man. I didn't mean to get off on this tangent, but you brought it up.
Not good.
We had no control over your guy getting kicked out the game. Brian, it's all about discipline, Brian. No, we were fortunate.
No, it was a great game, and definitely 2 teams that mirrored image a lot. There was a lot of when we played against Navarro, we knew they were going to be just like us as far as makeup, toughness, grit, how they were coached. They weren't going to beat themselves. You had to go beat them. And that double overtime game, both teams really wanted it. You guys deserved every bit of it. And then after going to Hutch that year, you guys went. And then I went to the 4-year level, and I was blessed to go recruit some of your guys and knew that's a place I wanted to stop. College coaches knew they wanted to stop through there because they knew the makeup of the guys, the character of the guys, how you develop them as people and players. And then they knew that the translation of their ability to have success at Navarro gave them an ability and ingredients to have success at the next level. So talk a little bit about that before we close up, and any other final thoughts you have, Coach. Just wanted to at least give a little bit of love to the good old matchup days, man.
No, that was the best years of my life, except for when I coached the games. And me and Eric and Legend and all of us, we always knew when we played you guys, we had to have a head, locked on. We actually played y'all, I want to think, 3 or 4 years in a row out of 4 for the championship. We're very blessed. But man, you hit on a lot of good points, man.
I gotta say this real quick. real quick to Ross's point. So to his defense, the year before, like you just said, you played in the championship, and they actually
he beat us by 1 point. You're right. He beat us by 1 point.
So it kind of went back and forth where there was a stretch where Navarro and Paris were in the championship to go to Hutch almost every year. Stretch.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying that I have nothing but the utmost respect. He beat us 50-49. I never will forget. If you scored a layup in that game, it was like you better celebrate it because it was a war. Oakland, the kid Ramon, the Puerto Rican kid from New York, man, he just went. He went to Wichita State and just did the same thing to them. So I didn't feel so bad up there to people. But you made a lot of good points, man. Our kids there, our kids there. What we would tell them when we started in recruiting, And once they got to campus, they understood what real was and what fake was. Because a lot of people promise kids things and then they get to campus and it's totally different. We never promised nothing but an opportunity and a great opportunity to be a part of something special, which they're included in as a family. And a lot of kids needed that. So we wanted our guys to understand that when they left Navarro College, number one, they're going to be better prepared. They're going to be able to impact winning and be able to, like just if it's a piece, if you have to be a piece for a year and figure it out, whatever the coach asks you to do, you're going to do. One of my best recruiting stories was a guy named James Thomas. JT was at Tarleton State. He redshirted at Tarleton State, and then he played sparingly, and then he transferred to us at Christmas. And me and Bilal was talking about this the other day. And JT was a 6'4" four-man. And I never will forget this. He helped us get the Hutch. He was the heart and soul of our team that fourth year. And when Sam Houston came to recruit him, they had a kid there that had transferred that was 6'7" from Marquette. And he had all the intangibles, the measurables, and all the whatever they call it today. I'm not a big analytical guy. And Jason Hooten came to my office, and JT was in the office. And JT was, like I said, he's a phenomenal kid. And I asked him point blank, I said, Jason, I said, we understand you have this young man there, but all we want to know is if James Thomas comes to your place, would he have a fair shot to play? And Jason, who has JUCO background, he played at McLennan and coached at Weatherford a year and spent a lot of years at Tarleton and worked for Bob Marlin, who's a Hall of Famer too in the JUCO ranks. He looked at me and looked at JT straight in the eyes and he said, yeah, he's going to have a chance, but I want to let you know that this kid is a really good player. And I looked at JT and we looked at him and said, well, good. We're good with it. All we want is a fair shot at it. Well, I say that to not be long-winded to say that by Christmas, JT was starting and ended up being all conference and really helped them build that program there. Not because he was, quote unquote, the player of the decade or whatever, but because of his sheer willingness to sacrifice and know how to win and buy in and bring those lifelong, lessons that we were able to put into him that he accepted and owned. He was able to go and help another coach, build his program there. So we have a lot of examples like that I really look back to and go, man, we did our job. That's confirmation. And as a coach, that's all you want. A lot of these guys that I've coached now, I'm getting to that point, they're 38 years old. They have families, they have careers. And when they text you or call you on Thanksgiving or Christmas, or they just, drop a line to you and just say, Coach, thank you for what I've done. It just warms your heart, man. It warms your heart because I'm not here or without them. And I'm not here without God and those unbelievable professionals and assistant coaches that he put in my life. So I'm a very simple man, as you know, Brian. Very simple. I don't try to live a complex life. I try to pass that on to those who listen, that there's no easy shortcuts. There's no easy way. You can't skip steps. Yep. Just continue to move forward every day. Keep God first. And it's all about relationships. You have to have the right relationships with the right people who are going to tell you the truth and care about you.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad. I know you guys. I was like, man, there's not very many guys Brandon doesn't know and hasn't connected with. So I'm glad I got to get you guys connected too. Coach Estelle, thanks so much for coming on, man, and doing great things. Congratulations again on the Hall of Fame. Congratulations on the success at your alma mater. I know that means something to you. Go back there. You shouted out the Be Ready guys earlier. I know you have a lot of influence there to help them understand. Keep that JUCO energy. You got to tell them keep that JUCO energy is good for them.
Well, yeah, man. I tell you what, I never will. I'm always be a junior college guy. And Brandon, it's been an honor to man. I've known of you. I know I've been out of junior college. I think 7 years now, or 8 maybe, and maybe you weren't on the scene maybe when I was there, but nope. It is an honor. I've heard nothing but great things from my junior college friends about what you're doing for the game. You're telling a story. You're utilizing this platform to tell the story and helping. You're helping guys professionally. You're helping kids. Man, you got to continue to do that, because at the end of the day, every coach at this level, meaning junior college, I'm telling you, they're gaining a great experience, man. That you're a full-time guy. I know they may get discouraged because they have to teach. They may have to do intramurals. They may have to work in the dorm and be a dorm supervisor. All by the way, recruit and coach and drive the bus. But I'm telling you, if they embrace those things that they don't like to do, if they will embrace them and do them at a high level with a great attitude, and then still excel in the basketball piece and relationship piece, they'll be a lot better than I was. But they cannot lose sight of that. They cannot say all these other things, but all I want to do is basketball. You have to be an ambassador for that university or that college. And don't get me wrong, people at these other places that you want to work at, they notice your attitude. They notice how you dress. They notice how you conduct yourself. They know how you work. They know how, every time they talk to you, you're not always trying to get an edge on the job. They know you. And then I'm telling you, it's those guys like that see you, that they say, I want that guy. Yep. And all you need is a chance. I want that guy. So I'm always got my eye out looking for the next Brian Burton.
I remember. So Coach Sam Walker is the mentor for my brother, and you mentioned him early on. And so I remember one time I may have come through there in a camp, and you guys, of course, are close, and you were there, and you looked at me, you said, is there anywhere you don't recruit? And that was when I first got a chance to meet you. But and again, you've been tremendous in my career, and along with my brother and so many other people. You mentioned Bilal and Crawford and E. Colbert and Legend. So thanks so much for all you do for the game, Coach. You're a big part of a lot of people's lives, especially, and you've impacted a lot of lives through junior college. And having that circle, people knew if they came to Navarro at the end of practice, you couldn't cut out early if you wanted to sign a player. So you had to have. So Coach Estelle used to have a circle at the end of practice where a coach that came in to recruit had to speak to his team. And that was a powerful time to empower coaches too, to have a voice with your players. So love so much everything that you've stood for. You've been a model and example for a lot of coaches to look up to, including myself, including my brother and many others. And just keep up the good work, Coach. Thanks so much for coming on, and good luck.
Hey, hold on, Brian. You left out. How we in practice afterward then?
Prayer.
How did we leave? How did we end? I'm going to see, did you remember? After you spoke, what did we do?
I would say pray, right?
You better believe it.
Absolutely.
Every day. We lock arms, and we pray, no matter if we had a great practice, bad practice, no matter who was there. Because at the end of the day, guys, when you look at what we're facing, whether it's the pandemic, the social injustice piece, whatever, we're all God's children. And I'm not trying to use this time to preach.
No, you're good.
But I'm just saying this to say, he's the ultimate for me, for me, and I don't try to impose my faith on people. I just try to say, for me in my life, he's guided me. He's guided every person to me to have a relationship with that I've benefited from. And also I hope I've helped them. And I love these guys, man. And that's, as a coach, that is so important, man. It's so important. It's about the relationship you have with your staff, your administration, and your players, man. I think about all those guys every day. But thank you, Brian, man. It's been an honor. Brandon. I could talk to you guys all day. This has been a great platform. It's rejuvenating for me. It's a part of my life that I will always cherish and hold close to my heart.
Yeah, it's been cool having you on, Coach. And a lot of your former players, former coaches have also shouted out during the show. I hope you got to see some of those comments, and hopefully you'll get to see some.
Yeah, I saw DeAndre on here, man. And, I've been offering him another scholarship. He won't come play for me. I mean, if I had a Dre Brown, bro, he made me a great coach. You know what I mean? When you got players like that guy, are you serious?
No doubt.
I'm gonna tell another story. Don't get embarrassed, DeAndre. Hold on, one more story. So when I became the head coach, this is a true story. And I know he's gonna say, oh no, but I'm gonna tell you, this is a testimony to DeAndre Brown. So I was an assistant coach in that year. It took about 40 days for me to get the job, or 50 days to get the job. I interviewed and all that stuff. So DeAndre was on that team that lost to Ross, which you pointed out. Thank you for doing that. But he was coming back. So this is a typical JUCO moment here. I'm gonna say this, and I promise I'm done. So Dre, he was kind of bebopping around, and I had told him, hey guys, look, we're gonna have to lock in. Coach is retiring, this and that. I don't know if I have the job, but I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. We're doing this and this. And Dre was doing good things. He wasn't doing nothing bad, but he wasn't excelling in the classroom like I thought he could. So I started signing guys back. And this is way before, Eric and anybody came in the picture. Well, one day, DeAndre came in and he says, hey, coach, I see everybody signing back. He said, when am I signing back? I said, oh, Dre, you're not quite ready. And he looked at me like, what are you talking about? I said, no, you can't, here's some things we got to do. And DeAndre did them and everything like that. And then I kind of waited a little bit. That I don't advise people to do this. Let me tell you this, but I was crazy. But anyway, I said, so I told DeAndre, probably about middle of he texted me in the middle of the summer. He says, Coach, if you don't want me, I'm gonna transfer. I said, well, where you want to go? And he goes, I thought he was stunned, And this is a true story. Not a lot of people don't know the story, but through the relationship I had with DeAndre and his mother and his stepfather, his family, great family there. So anyway, his mother called me. She says, Coach. Now, this is JUCO for you. Now, these are junior college parents now. This is why I say I love you. They say, DeAndre told me he wants to transfer. I said, yes, sir, he sure did. He told me that the other day. She said, tell me what's really going on, because I know DeAndre. So I said, okay, here it is. I want him to do better academically. I said, for him to go D1, he needs to do this, da. She said, Coach, he'll be back there. He'll be back there. Don't worry about it. So DeAndre showed up, and he kind of he was in his feelings a little bit, as they say, and I knew that. But now all along, I knew we needed DeAndre. This is a true story. So DeAndre showed up and he played and he did a good job and everything. So at Navarro, you got your financial aid at a certain time. So when he got his financial aid, part of his deal was to earn his scholarship back. Yep. So when he got his disbursement, he got $8.50, something like that. So DeAndre, he told Coach Colbert. So Coach Colbert came in there. He says, Coach, DeAndre got $8.50. I said, really? He wasn't supposed to get that. And Eric kind of looked at me. But what I'm telling this story as a testimony to DeAndre. Okay, this is my point. It's not about me. DeAndre did everything I asked him to do. DeAndre had the biggest name of anybody on our roster. But DeAndre wanted to win, and he loved Navarro and Johnny Estelle enough to go through that little hard time. Yep. And he got his scholarship reinstated or whatever. And when we beat y'all, I know you don't remember, I hate to say that. Me and him was at the middle court in tears, embracing one another, hugging each other. And I will remember this to the day they put dirt on me. He said, Coach, I love you for never giving up on me. And I told DeAndre, I said, DeAndre, you will always be a son to me. I never, ever meant anything but wanted the best for you. And I love you. And he said, Coach, I love you too. And me and DeAndre will always be tied together, not because of that story. And that's one of those JUCO moments, but because we went through something together. And I say that not to embarrass him or anything or to make me look better, but to let you know how much that's the kind of kid we had. The kid today is transferring. You see what I'm saying? He's leaving. He's going. Dre is a great testimony. But when he played against DJ Augustine in Texas, we was in attendance, and he did a great job there because I wasn't surprised. So I know that story may be like, why did you tell that story? But when I saw Dre's name come across there, it's been a few days since Dre played for me. But he's still supporting me, and I'm always going to be here for him. So thank you, guys. I'm sorry I occupied and dominated your time. Love you guys. Man, take some of that stuff I said. Don't duplicate that last story. You need players. But at the end of the day, thank you for what you do.
Be good, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.